Sarah Mitchell stared at her reflection in the bathroom mirror, watching as tendrils of smoke danced around her face in the dim light. At 16, she had mastered the art of silence, the quiet slide of windows, the muffled cough, the careful disposal of evidence. Her parents, pillars of the local church community, would never suspect their perfect daughter harbored such secrets. The ritual began 3 months ago when Danny Parker offered her that first cigarette behind the school gymnasium. The rush of nicotine, the forbidden thrill, the way it made her feel alive, it was everything her carefully controlled life wasn't. Now, perched on her bathroom windowsill at 2 a.m., she found peace in her private rebellion. Her phone buzzed. Another C- in calculus. Sarah took a long drag, letting the smoke fill her lungs as she remembered her mother's words at Sunday dinner. God gives us trials to test our faith. If only her mother knew how many trials her daughter was failing. But the cigarettes helped quiet the voices of disappointment, the whispers of not good enough that echoed through their pristine suburban home. During the day, Sarah played her part perfectly. The dutiful daughter in modest dresses, hair neatly braided, Bible study on Wednesdays. But at night, she transformed. The smoke became her confidant, the only witness to her true self. Sometimes, she'd stare at the cherry-red ember and imagine it was the eye of God, watching her fall from grace with each exhale. Her parents' footsteps never reached this far end of the house at night. She'd chosen her bathroom carefully, the one furthest from their bedroom, where the ancient ventilation fan could mask any telltale sense. The pack of Marlboros stayed hidden in a hollow book, Prayers for the Righteous, a gift from her grandmother that now held her sacred contraband. Tonight felt different, though. The air was heavy with more than just smoke. Danny had texted earlier, asking her to meet him at midnight tomorrow. Her body hummed with anticipation, hormones and nicotine creating a cocktail of desire she couldn't quite understand. She knew it was wrong. Her parents had lectured enough about the sins of the flesh, but the same thrill that drew her to smoking pulled her toward him. Sarah's hands trembled as she lit another cigarette, her third of the night. The flame illuminated the cross hanging on her bathroom wall, a constant reminder of the life she was supposed to lead. But the girl who knelt in church on Sundays felt like a stranger now, a character she played in someone else's story. The loneliness was the hardest part. No one knew the real Sarah, not her church friends with their innocent giggles, not her parents with their rigid expectations, not even Danny, who saw her as some kind of rebel angel. The cigarettes were her only constant companions, the only ones who accepted her without judgment. She checked her phone again, 2:43 a.m. Soon, she'd need to air out the bathroom, spray the vanilla air freshener she'd stolen from the church bathroom, and wash her hands 3 times with lemon-scented soap. The evidence would disappear, like smoke into the night air, and tomorrow she'd be perfect Sarah again. But something was shifting inside her, like tectonic plates beneath a peaceful surface. Each secret cigarette, each hidden moment of defiance, pushed her further from the girl her parents thought they'd raised. The smoke that curled around her fingers seemed to whisper promises of freedom, of a life beyond hymns and homework and suffocating expectations. Sarah took one final drag, savoring the burn in her throat. Outside, the moon hung like a pale judge in the sky, witnessing her small acts of rebellion. Tomorrow, she'd face another day of pretense, of struggling through classes she couldn't focus on, of dodging her mother's concerned glances and her father's stern lectures about applying herself. But for now, in this moment between night and morning, she was free. The smoke rose around her like a protective veil, shielding her from the weight of expectations, from the crushing loneliness of being 16 and lost in a world that felt too small, too rigid, too blind to see her drowning in its perfection. She crushed out the cigarette and watched the last wisps of smoke disappear into the darkness. In a few hours, the sun would rise, and Sarah Mitchell, perfect daughter, failing student, secret sinner, would begin another day of living 2 lives, each exhale carrying her further from salvation, closer to something that felt dangerously like freedom.